Imagine walking into a neighborhood where every single resident is capable of killing you. You don't have a gun, a car, or even a locked door. Somewhere in the grass, a lion may be watching. Near the river, a crocodile could be waiting. And in the darkness, hyenas might be moving closer. The worst part is that you're walking directly into their territory. For most of human history, humans were not the rulers of the planet. We were animals living among other animals, some bigger, faster, stronger, and far better equipped to kill. So when ancient humans entered a new landscape, they weren't simply looking for a nice place to live. They were entering someone else's world. A world where predators already knew the rivers, hunting routes, hiding places, and safest places to sleep. So how did ancient humans survive when they entered predator territory? The answer is more interesting than simply saying they had weapons, because for a very long time they barely had any. Somehow, against animals with claws, fangs, incredible speed, and millions of years of evolutionary experience, our ancestors survived long enough to eventually become the most dangerous predator on Earth. But before humans ruled the food chain, there was a time when they could become food. Imagine an early human group arriving in unfamiliar land. Maybe they had followed migrating animals, maybe drought forced them to leave, or maybe food had disappeared from where they lived. From a distance, the new land looked perfect. Trees, water, animals, everything they needed. But there was a problem. There was a reason all those animals were there, and humans weren't the only ones who noticed. Water holes attracted prey, prey attracted predators, rivers attracted thirsty animals, and dense vegetation created perfect hiding places. The best place for humans to survive could also be the best place for something else to hunt. Ancient humans constantly faced the same terrifying question: where can we find food without becoming food ourselves? And unlike modern humans, they couldn't check a map that said, "Warning, lions ahead." Sometimes the first sign that they had entered predator territory may have been tracks in the dirt, a half-eaten carcass, scattered bones, or the feeling that something was watching from the trees. This was especially dangerous because humans were not physically impressive. We don't have claws, massive teeth, or the speed of a hunting cat. A lion can outrun us, a leopard can climb places we can't reach, and hyenas have jaws powerful enough to crush bone. Running away wasn't always an option when the thing chasing you had evolved specifically to catch animals that ran. So humans needed another strategy. They needed to become difficult prey. One of their greatest advantages was incredibly simple: they were not alone. A single human in predator territory was vulnerable. A group was something else entirely. Predators understand risk. An injury can mean death in the wild, so attacking a group of humans shouting, throwing stones, and standing together could be far more dangerous than attacking one person running alone. Humanity's first great survival advantage may not have been strength or weapons. It may have been each other. But predators didn't only attack during the day. When the sun went down, everything changed. Today, darkness is solved with a light switch. For ancient humans, darkness could mean that danger was already standing nearby before they even knew it. Human vision is poor at night compared with many predators, so choosing where to sleep became one of the most important survival decisions they could make. Too close to water, and animals might pass through. Too close to dense vegetation, and predators could approach unseen. Too far from resources, and finding food became difficult. Every sleeping place involved a dangerous compromise. Then fire changed the equation. Controlled fire gave humans warmth, light, and something that could push back the darkness. Suddenly, when night arrived, a group didn't have to disappear into the shadows. They could remain awake, communicate, and gather around a central point. A campfire may have created a small island of safety surrounded by a much more dangerous world. Inside the light were humans. Outside it was everything else. But eventually, people had to leave the fire. They needed water, food, and new places to live, which meant their territory constantly overlapped with other predators. Humans and predators often wanted the same things: animals to hunt, water to drink, and carcasses to eat. Imagine discovering a freshly killed animal. The predator is gone for now. Do you approach and take the food, or is the animal that killed it still nearby? Early humans may sometimes have been scavengers competing with far more dangerous animals for the same meal. Basically, stealing someone's lunch while hoping they don't come back. And sometimes they probably did. This is where human intelligence became increasingly important. Humans could observe, remember, and recognize patterns. If animals regularly used the same path to reach water, people could learn that route. If a certain place became dangerous at a particular time, the group could remember. And most importantly, knowledge could be shared. One person sees danger and everyone else learns from it. A child didn't need to personally discover that a predator was dangerous. Someone older could teach them. Tracks became warnings. The sounds of birds and other animals became information. A sudden silence in the forest could mean something was nearby. Over generations, humans became experts at reading a world that most modern people barely notice. Eventually, better stone tools made hunting more effective. Weapons allowed humans to attack from a distance, and cooperation allowed groups to challenge animals that no individual human could defeat. Humans developed something especially dangerous: the ability to plan before an attack happened. A predator could react to prey in the moment. Humans could remember where animals traveled yesterday and prepare for where they might go tomorrow. Slowly, the balance began to change. The humans entering predator territory were no longer always the weakest animals there. But this transformation took thousands of generations. For a very long time, humans lived knowing they could be hunted. That knowledge shaped where they slept, how they traveled, how they protected children, and how closely they stayed together. Individually, a human wasn't terrifying. But 10 humans standing together, using stones, fire, tools, communication, and cooperation, were something entirely new. Slowly, predators may have learned a lesson too. These strange, weak-looking creatures were dangerous when they stayed together. The story of humanity becoming dominant isn't really the story of becoming physically stronger. Lions are still stronger. Leopards are still faster. Crocodiles are still better equipped to kill. Humans changed the rules in another way. We combined our individual weaknesses. One person could watch, another could carry fire, another could search for food, and another could remember where danger had appeared before. Together, they could survive where one person alone might not. So what happened when ancient humans entered predator territory? At first, they probably did what vulnerable animals do. They watched. They avoided danger. They hid. They stayed close together. They learned. And sometimes they died. But over thousands of generations, something extraordinary happened. Tracks became information. Sounds became warnings. Fire became protection. The group became a weapon. And predator territory slowly stopped being only their territory. It became ours too. The predators probably never realized what was happening. A small group of relatively weak animals had entered their world. They had no claws, no fangs, and no incredible speed. At first, they may not have looked like much. But those humans had something more dangerous. They remembered. They communicated. They learned from mistakes they hadn't personally made. And every generation became slightly harder to kill. Until eventually, the creatures that once looked nervously into the darkness became the creatures everything else had to fear. Humans didn't survive predator territory because we were the strongest animals in it. We survived because we learned how not to face it alone.